It was always going to happen, what most of you guys are probably here for anyway. We've got a Transit Custom in for a wet belt. Let's show you how we do it. Job's on the system. Let's press start. Let's give you guys a time frame, roughly how long we can do it in. Did you see what I done? Fixing a grey Transit, next is a white one. Pretty sure this is meant to be attached to something. Don't worry, I know where it goes. I will put it back in the right place. Somebody's been in here and just butchered this. Why does that need 3 washers on it? Did clip that back in either. Oh my god. Now you don't have to take this top bit off, like the airbox and these pipes. I just do because it gives me more room and I just like to see it. It's one of those things. Personal preference. So as you can see, I've cleared most of the way of the top side now. There's not a lot left to do here, so we'll go up underneath, we'll take the bottom off, and then we'll come and attack that engine mount. Workspace tidy. Water pump off. Undo this 10mm for the power steering pump because that's got to move out of the way. We'll just drain the oil, get the sump off. Let's check out that strainer. Just to stop it from dripping out so much. Oh, up the top there, you can see it. We'll take that off and give you the strainer shot. A couple of little bits in the sump in this corner here, look. Those there, they're all bits of belt. So you see all the belt broken up in there? It's really badly on like this bottom, like here. You can see that, yeah, just there. It's all stuck to the side of it. This van's only done 66,000 miles, so again, hasn't made it to its service interval recommended by Ford. Brought it in just in time. Just got an aircon pump bolt. Now we've got the engine mount to attack, tensioner, crank pulley. Let's get all them off. This is why you date a mechanic. See that there? It's all fingers, bro. The water pump isn't timing belt driven because obviously it's a wet belt, but what we do is we like to replace it while we're in here. Goes a little wee on the floor. Take the van up so the engine drops. We'll get the crank pulley off, get the timing cover off, and we'll show you the belt. What we've got to do now is undo the crazy tight crank pulley bolt. We're going to try the Mac Tools gun. Let's see if it works. Sometimes it decides it does, sometimes it doesn't. Nope. Let's get the Milwaukee on there. Yeah, I had a full battery on mine. This is number 2, so let's see if it... Milwaukee for the win. There you go. What we've got here is a homemade crank pulley tool. Literally just bolt through the middle, 2 bolts are bolted into the crank pulley, and you're sorted. Let's get it off. That is it off. And that's how it works. Literally just bolts into the crank, use the original crank bolt, and do it up against that. And you can see here the rubber dampener on the back started to come apart. They get a little line here, and if your fingernail gets caught in that line, if it is starting to, then it won't seal back up. So we're going to need to get this guy crank pulley. This is why you replace the cover, because you ain't never getting this to seal up again. Look at that. If you want to put that back on, no, just buy a new one. We're just going to hook the oil pump belt off, and then we're going to time it up, and we'll take the main belt off. There we go. That's the oil pump belt off. It's not in the worst condition, got a couple of little cracks, look. We just want to get this timed up. Let's hope it's not on like turn 1 out of 14. It's going to be here for a little while. But when you put the new belt on, to get all the crank timing marks aligned, and then the cam marks are lined again, you have to turn it over 14 times. You don't have to do that. You can make your own marks, but to get back to the original marks, you do have to do it 14 times. So that's just what we like to do. It's just a personal preference thing. I know people don't, we do. Okay, so the timing pins are in, which are just old tensioner pins. You can see these alignment marks here. That's where the crank aligns. And what I'll do is I'll put a little paint mark just so that I know. To release the tensioner with an 8mm Allen key and just pull your belt off. Look at that there, straight away. First thing we come to, peeling belt. See how badly it's cracked. Again, more fraying, loads more fraying. On the inside, you see the T, but it's all breaking up. It's all changed colours. This is why we do them, and again, it's only 66,000 miles. I think when these originally came out, it was meant to be like 100,000 or something. We haven't had one on that yet. Clean all this old silicone off, replace the water pump, get it all back together. I like to go in with a blade first, get all the big bits off. Hooks on about there somewhere. Just to pull the engine forward. We'll let the van down, engine will come up, and we can get to the water pump. There's no more geeters. He's about to go and test drive an M4 in the wet. He's too short to reach the pedals quick enough. See all that rust around there? That's why it was difficult to get out. But this is why we replace them while we're in there. Everybody's always asking us to include pricing and time frames. So on a custom, it's £1,100 plus the VAT at the moment. I'm going to take you through what you get in that £1,100 plus the VAT, and then we'll go through the time frames, all right? So to start with, obviously, you get your timing belt and your tensioner. You get a brand new water pump, oil pump belt, a strainer, your crank pulley, your auxiliary belt and your water pump belt, brand new oil filter, a sump, your engine mount bolts, and of course your timing cover. We buy everything from Ford, so you get all genuine parts, okay? The reason we replace the sump is because you see us bend it, taking it off. The reason we replace the timing cover is because you see us bend it, taking it off. You cannot put them back on because they just won't seal up. The price varies from the rear-wheel drive Transits and again then the Rangers. They are slightly different prices, but for a custom, it's £1,100 plus the VAT at the moment. Release, back it goes. Tensioner in first, and we'll put the belt on. So we torque the tensioner up to 25 Newton meters. The only light to come on is fuel light. This is problem. Belt's on. I'm gonna pull the pin. Take these pins out. And now comes the 14 turns. I've lost count already. 1, 2, pins are in. And all my marks line up at the bottom. So we are banged on. This is the sealant that we use. We use Victor Rhines. So you put it around the outside of the cover, and then it lights it in each gap on the engine. Don't touch anything with this. It needs to go on completely flat. There's 2 aligning dowels at the bottom. Make sure they go on square. No, I'm not doing them up with my battery ratchet. I'm just winding them in. I always torque these. All the 8 mils are 10 Newton meters, and then the 10 and the 13 are 18 Newton meters. Okay, so engine mount on. These do have a torque setting. It's FT. Okay, so I'm stuck now without a crank pulley, but I've got everything back on that I need to get on. So I'll hit pause on my tablet, and we'll crack on with something else quickly. So far, we've been going 2 hours and 14 minutes. Stop. Wait on parts. See, it's completely clean on the back. There's no line, and this rubber is completely intact. Pull it in. There we go. Good amount of Ooga Doogas, we're good. Just wipe around your surfaces a little bit so that you don't cover yourself in oil when you clean it. Stuff your oil pump with a little bit of rag so you don't get any of this stuff in there. Before you apply any of your Victor Ryans or any of your sealant, you always want to degrease your surfaces. Just run across here a bit of degreaser, just make sure that the area is ready for the silicone. Before you do any of your sump bolts up tight, make sure you've put all of them in at least by hand, because I've seen it before where somebody's done like the corner ones up tight, but it's like ever so slightly one way, and they'll put a bolt in and then it will just cross thread it. And we'll just do these up on number one and then we'll go around and torque them up. So we've just put a film of oil around our oil filter O-ring. It's different, I need the other one, I can't remember what one it is. Part sent us the wrong belt. We've ordered the right belt, let's wait for that to turn up, then we'll get that on. Don't want it to be wrong, let's get the right one. From Ford. That's better, huh? Let's go. Plug in the pluggy plug. And the pipe that was just dangling randomly, let's put that back in where it's supposed to be. And that is it. We'll leave the silicone to go off overnight. Okay, so welcome back. We're in the next morning now. We're going to click start and we're going to get some oil in the transit. So we are actually using the correct oil, which is the 030. I know it says 530 on the jug, but we don't have the 030 jug. There you go. We're on the maximum, so let's put some coolant in it and run it up. Will it start? Of course it will. Let's get the heating on. All I'm doing now is just trying to bleed up the cooling system, get some heat into the cab. Try not to kill everyone in the workshop. So we've been under the van for sort of 10 minutes now, running it up, checking for any leaks, and we are dry as a bone. We'll just road test it, we'll recheck for leaks, see what we got. Top that up just above the maximum, we'll road test it. That'll probably drop and it'll be bang on. All we want to do in the road test, we want to get up to motorway speeds. We want to make sure that the coolant temperature gauge stays where it is. We've done our post-work scan. As you can see, we're all passed, no faults. We'll get under the bonnet, we'll check the oil level, coolant level. Coolant level's bang on the maximum, which is perfect. Let's get a rag, check the oil, and a torch, check underneath. Oil level's bang on. We've done everything. The job is completed and ready to go back to the customer. It's bang on 4 hours. When we finished yesterday, it was just over 3 hours, so we put the oil in it, put the coolant in it. Just goes to show that we are thorough with checking our work. The road test has got to be a decent length so that we know no problems are going to occur when the customer takes it away. 4 hours, job done. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's see what more videos we can get for you.